Dan Koe took his one-person business from stagnant to $7 million revenue in just 3 years. But what's the unique content strategy Dan's used to build a cult-like audience? And how does he then almost ethically brainwash this audience into paying him millions of dollars with a weirdly simple funnel? Well, I've spent the last 13 hours investigating to reveal all of that to you, and I'll share the hidden growth engine that makes all of this look effortless, whilst Dan works just a few hours a day. Dan seemingly just exploded onto YouTube, but in reality his growth was initially a slow crawl, posting video after video, until he stumbled on a gold mine, which grew his channel by 1 million views in just 1 week. This gold mine was speaking about the one-person business model. Of course, Dan didn't let this success trap him into one niche, however, and diving into our funnel breakdown here, we can see he branched out and broke out of that box into 5 more of his interests. But it's not as simple as just making videos about these topics. In Dan's video packaging, or his titles and thumbnails, he uses thumbnail text that adds curiosity and intrigue to the title. They also abide by the rule of 3, which is where, generally speaking, you want to have no more than 3 components to your thumbnails, or they could become cluttered and harder to see in the split second that our audience is glancing at them. And his thumbnails are also on brand. They all follow Dan's signature two-tone style. As soon as you look at this, you know it's a Dan Koe video. But the main psychological factor of these thumbnails and the video as a whole is each video feels unique to Dan, like it's a unique formula he's come up with to solve your pain point. But now we know what moves the needle for Dan's thumbnails and video packaging. His videos aren't as off the cuff as they seem. I've broken down each video into a repeatable viral script framework for you to use. So we start off with the hook, which Dan normally has as a contrarian take.
The fastest way to ruin your life is to follow someone else's plan.
Or simply highlighting a significant pain point in the viewer's mind.
It takes about 1 to 2 months of confusion, feeling lost, and being on the verge of giving up.
Then he diagnoses the root cause of this pain point from a deeper psychological perspective. He tells you why you think the way you do.
You don't have the awareness that 5 yards away, there's a clear path that you can take to the top of the mountain.
Before introducing the framework or the formula of the video, and this is what I mean by ethically brainwashing.
So here's how you get out.
He's reprogramming his audience's limiting beliefs, and this ultimately makes the big idea or the topic of the video. Next, he gives you the step-by-step how-to points to solve that pain point.
Step 1.
Which often correlate to the step-by-step system within his digital product or software.
And by the way, I created an AI prompt that turns your life into a video game.
Before connecting these practical how-to steps with the deeper philosophical meaning of the video. And finally, a call to action at the end, which tend to be in order of importance.
I have a turn your life into a video game AI prompt that I made. I recommend you check it out, link in the description.
Now, this might sound like a lot of work, 213 videos, 20 to 50 minutes long, but the one growth engine behind it all is what I call the content repurposing flywheel, where my understanding of it is that Dan writes one long form newsletter per week, which doubles up as a blog, which he then reads out loud for his YouTube video, then uses that audio file for podcast platforms and breaks it down into structured chunks, and then adds animations for his YouTube reels, as well as turning snippets of the script or other general ideas into written posts on X and LinkedIn. And this is then scheduled and spread out over the course of a few weeks. But it's all good putting high performance content out there, but to turn this into a one-person business or personal brand, we need to nurture and sell to build an audience of buyers and not just fans. And this is what Dan does perfectly in the middle of his funnel. But quickly before that, if you want to steal the strategies top personal brands like Dan use to grow and monetize their audience, then I break them down every single week in my free newsletter, Personal Brand Builders. It's based on my experience of meeting, studying, and working alongside some of the biggest personal brands on earth, and then growing my own personal brand from $0 to $10,000 a month in just 90 days. This week's email could be the idea or the strategy that changes everything for you. And if you miss it, your competitors won't. It's the second link in the description to join for free. So a viewer discovers Dan from one of his videos. Now what? Dan's funnel turns casual viewers into cult-like audience members who combined pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars per month from both his digital products and his software Kortex. Now, if you remember, I said the step-by-step systems within Dan's formulaic videos often correlate to the steps within his software or digital products. Now, he also funnels his audience into his software Kortex by building his lead magnets in the software itself, which is a note-taking app. So he's giving away the information for free and selling the implementation. He's also got books, his blog, and a free course. And all of these are his lead magnets, which funnel people into his email list, where he can keep hammering them with value and nurturing them, and then subtly pitch his paid offers at the bottom of the email. Just like we covered with the growth engine behind all of this content, the entire thing is powered by one newsletter, which ultimately comes down to copywriting. Now, Dan is an expert copywriter, and this is how he's turning 2 hours of writing a day into his empire of a personal brand. And intentionally or subconsciously, he uses techniques like winter is coming, where something big is happening out of the viewer or reader's control.
It's no wonder why people are so worried about being replaced. Their skills are becoming outdated, they're on the verge of losing their means to survival.
As well as the us versus them technique of pitching the in-crowd, his audience, against everyone else.
You hate the thought of ending up like everyone else.
And most of all, future pacing, which is illustrating to his audience the picture of their dream outcome on the other side of their pain points.
Until you hit that breakthrough.
But you can have the best videos and marketing in the world. If you haven't created an irresistible offer, people simply won't buy. And this is where we move on to the bottom of Dan's funnel, his irresistible offers that have brought in millions of dollars at a 97% gross profit margin. 97%. He uses what he calls
solopreneur sprints,
which are short periods of scarcity-driven marketing to funnel people into his digital products, like a promotional event or a cohort, for example. So Dan currently has 4 main offerings from what I can tell. Kortex, his note-taking software, his personal brand building offer, his copywriting digital product, the 2-hour writer, and his final digital product teaching the one-person business model. And this is the offer that's generated $700,000 in just one cohort, one promotional event. But my main takeaway from digging into Dan's one-person business, his personal brand, is this. With intentional content, strong copywriting, and solid systems, you can turn the knowledge already in your head into a wildly profitable personal brand. And if you stay consistent, something will eventually click and it'll all work out. So now you've got the strategy. But if your content doesn't feel authentic and genuine, it simply won't stick. In this next video, I'll show you how to build a personal brand people actually fuck with, just like Dan's done. Thank you for watching.